that person as your standard or your model. Imagine what he would do in any given situation, and then do it yourself. Many of the most effective men and women in America reach their positions by modeling themselves in their earlier years after someone who was already extremely effective, someone they admired and respected for qualities they wanted to develop in themselves. Because of the law of correspondence, you always tend to become on the inside what you most admire in other people. Become a teacher. The fifth technique for programming your subconscious mind is to imagine that you are going to be teaching a course in time management 1 year from today. This technique comes from discoveries in the field of accelerated learning. What the experts have found is that if you think about how you would teach new material at the same time you are learning the new material, you seem to absorb it and internalize it far faster than if you just thought about learning it and using it for yourself. As you take in these new ideas on time management, think of how you would teach them to someone else. Think of someone in your life who could benefit from practicing what you are learning. Just as you become what you think about, you also become what you teach. Just thinking about teaching something to someone else increases the speed at which you learn it yourself. And you always think about teaching those things that you most want or need to learn for yourself. One of the fastest ways to learn new techniques and ideas permanently is to share them with other people immediately after you learn them. Each time you come across a good idea in this book, take a few moments to share it with someone nearby, either at home or at work. The concentration you require to explain the new principle in your own words to another person seems to drive the information deeper into your subconscious mind, where it becomes a permanent part of your long-term memory. Be a role model for others. The sixth technique you can use to program your subconscious mind is to imagine that others are looking up to you as an example of excellence in time management. Imagine that you are setting the standard in your company or your organization. Imagine that everyone is looking to you for guidance on how they should plan and organize their own time. If others were watching you, what would you do differently each day? How would you behave in your daily work? How would you organize your time if you felt that everyone was looking up at you to set the standard, to be the role model? When you see yourself as a model, an example of excellent performance, you will always do better and accomplish more than if you just thought of yourself as personally trying to be more efficient. The more you think about yourself as an excellent time manager, the more excellent you become. The more you see yourself as a role model for others, the better you become in organizing your own time and life. Your self-esteem determines your life. Perhaps the most important part of the psychology of time management and the role that your self-concept has in determining your performance and behavior is the impact of your self-esteem in determining everything that happens to you. Most psychologists agree that self-esteem is the critical determinant of a healthy personality. The best definition of self-esteem is how much you like yourself. When you like and respect yourself, you always perform and behave better than if you do not. The more you like yourself, the more confidence you have. Self-esteem is the key to peak performance. Your self-esteem is so important to your emotional health that almost everything you do is aimed at either increasing your feelings of self-esteem and personal value or protecting it from being diminished by other people and circumstances. Self-esteem is the founding principle of success and happiness. It is vital for you to feel fully alive. The key to peak performance. The flip side of self-esteem is called self-efficacy. This is defined as how effective you feel you are at doing or accomplishing a task or job. When you feel that you are really good at something, you experience positive feelings of self-efficacy. One of the greatest discoveries in psychology was the uncovering of the connection between self-esteem and self-efficacy. Now we know that the more you like yourself, the better you do at almost anything you attempt. And the better you do at something, the more you like yourself. Self-esteem and self-efficacy feed on and reinforce each other. This finding is what makes time management so important for every part of your life. The better you use your time, the more you get done. and the higher is your feeling of self-efficacy. As a result, you like yourself more, do even higher quality work, and get even more done. Your whole life improves. 3 self-esteem builders. There are 3 additional factors that affect your self-esteem that have to do with time management. These are 1. Determining your values, 2. Striving for mastery, and 3. Knowing what you want. Determining your values. Living your life in a manner consistent with your deepest values is essential in order for you to enjoy high self-esteem. People who are clear on what they believe in and value, and who refuse to compromise their values, like and respect themselves far more than people who are unclear about what matters to them. This immediately brings up the question, how much do you value your life? People who truly value their lives are people who highly value themselves. People who value themselves highly use their time well. They know that their time is their life. The law of reversibility says that feelings and actions interact on each other. If you feel a certain way, you will act in a manner consistent with what you're feeling. However, the reverse is also true. If you act in a certain way, your actions will create within you the feelings that are consistent with them. This means that when you act as if your time was extremely valuable, the action causes you to feel more like a valuable and important person. By managing your time well, you actually increase your self-esteem, and by extension, you become better at whatever you are doing. The very act of living your life consistent with your values and using your time effectively and well improves your self-image, builds your self-esteem and self-confidence, and increases your self-respect. Striving for mastery. The second factor that affects your self-esteem is your sense of being in control of your life and work, your feeling of mastery in whatever you do. Everything that you learn about time management and then apply in your work causes you to feel more in control of yourself and your life. As a result, you feel more effective and efficient. You feel more productive and powerful. Every increase in your feeling of effectiveness and productivity increases your self-esteem and improves your sense of personal well-being. Knowing what you want. The third factor that directly affects your self-esteem involves your current goals and the activities you take to achieve those goals.